It starts everything back in the beginning when I was like 16 years old. Even before that, when I was going through something, um, when it all started on 130 Prospect Street, when I was living with my mother at the time, and a lot of things transpired, a lot of things that happened when I was living there, and it all started with she couldn't maintain that apartment that she was in. She kept moving all around and she wasn't paying her bills. And then the next thing she does is she started doing the blame game. And I became the potential target every time something bad went down. And there were a lot of times she would bring men in and out of the house. That's one of the reasons why me and my brother, we went to bed at 7 o'clock because she would have sex with men in and out of the house because that's what her best friend, my god sister, were telling me. I didn't even know at the time until they told me as I got older when I had a conversation with them on the phone. And the next thing that happened was it became over time, it became very violent between us. She would start fights with me for no reason because she wasn't handling her responsibility of the mother. She wasn't handling her duties of the mother. She was being irresponsible with the money and she wasn't paying her rent. So we ended up getting eviction. And next thing you know, it became very violent where she would punch me in my stomach and she would choke me on the couch, try to push all the air out of my body so I won't breathe. And I had trouble breathing and almost knocked out unconscious. And there were a lot of times where in the middle of the night she would bring her girlfriend, Miss Winters, up in the house and she violently put her hand on me. She would rip my shirt. She would grab my she would scratch my face, she would scratch my lips. She would punch me in my chest. She would smack me around a little bit more until I felt numb, where I had a hard time moving. And my mom would sit in that chair laughing, eating popcorn. Didn't do anything to stop it. And then after everything went down, there was a lot of time when I went to bed and I would cry in my sleep about all the trauma that I endured on. Why? Because I was the golden child. And I would even go to school. I went to Midland Park High School where I guess one of the teachers noticed that I wasn't myself a lot lately and my grades just started slipping because of all the stuff that I was going through at home that I was like I couldn't grasp everything that I was going through. Like I even had time to process all of that. So yeah, my grades would start slipping because of it. And and they end up calling the child protective service. And I guess the child protective service never showed up. Maybe they were aware of what was going on. And they were I remember in the middle of December, my mom threw me out of the house. I had no pants on. I was crying. I went next door. The woman let me in the house, which was a very kind lady. Shout out to whoever that lady was. I appreciate you letting me in the house because I would desperately needed help at the time because I had nowhere to turn. And she let me in the house. And the next thing that happened was I ended up calling my grandmother crying. hysterically because I wanted to get out. I wanted to get the hell out of this situation because I didn't want to be there no more. And I guess my grandmother never answered the phone for whatever reason. And eventually she ended up getting custody. But here's where things took a dark turn. I really thought my grandmother and I had a great relationship. And I thought that this is a woman who, the love of my life, and all these things. I was speaking so highly of her until a few years later, as I got older in my 20s, she knew everything I was going through with my mother. And then she turned around and do the same exact thing, which later on I found out she used me for source of supply. And she used me just in case later on she fell ill or sick, I would become a caregiver, and she would stop me from pursuing uh my my success or my dream that I want to accomplish. Because she wanted validation and attention. Because that's what narcissists do. They lack empathy. It's, she's so into herself. She doesn't care about anybody else around her but herself. It's all about what she wants, how she want it done. Whatever how she want it, she's gonna get it one way or another. And she wants to be the center of the attention of everything. She's the woman who like to be on stage in front of 1,000 people, and she'll do any means necessary to get what she need to get what she want. And I guess it doesn't matter who gets hurt. That's what I felt. I realized later on that, oh man, I'm in love with somebody that doesn't even love me back. So I was loving the wrong people, but that was my mistake because you can't help who you love. I disrespect myself. I allow myself so much to be in that person's presence, to even be around this person who's not showing me the same kind of love that I deserve. She hurt me. She hurt everybody else around her because she's selfish. I don't deserve that. Nobody does it. Especially when she humiliated me, putting me all over the internet for everybody to see it. And I went months and months without talking to her. And she was acting like, and she was acting all confused, try to play like she tried to play dumb, blonde, and stupid, like she doesn't even know what she did that was wrong. Like she act like she doesn't remember what she did that was wrong. But that's what a narcissist is. They know what they did, but they just don't want to remember what they did. So that was the whole ordeal of that story that happened. There's a lot more to it than just that. So that I had to endure on. But this is what happened when you're the golden child, the chosen one. You become the target of everybody, including family dynamic and everybody else around you. Um, yeah, I was the victim through all of that, and I was the survivor. And I suffered a long-term mental health depression, PTSD, PTSD, and suicidal thoughts, and and I even suffered from depression. Um, there was one time last year I did uh, too many edibles, and I think I was drinking too much. Where sometimes I would overdose on it to cope with the pain that I was dealing with. Even the drug that I was taking, edibles, I took too much of it. I almost died from it because I overdosed on it too much. So yeah, there were times where I would cry myself to sleep at night. So because I've been through a lot of stuff as a golden child. And my brother didn't went through anything. He was just a scapegoat. He was just a witness and a bystander through everything. So that's the difference between me and him. So he tried to use my struggle by telling the world that he was a survivor. He's not a survivor. That was me all day, every day. I was, and I'm still am to this day. So that's the truth of the story. I got more on the way and more episodes about the Golden Child. So stay tuned for that.